That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's brilliant. That's fantastic. It's always good to be curious, right?
Yeah, it's an amazing site.
Yeah, it genuinely is.
I want to see if there's anything online about it.
Ooh, what's that? Listen, one KC 135. That's come over my house.
You might have some cloud cover here. I can't see everything.
Ah, boo.
Yeah, boo.
Is it
So-
very
so
low?
looking-
Is it very low on the horizon?
It's
Yeah,
about
early evening. Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course that will give you the moon illusion stuff as well, so it'll make it look larger than it actually is. If they were, right high up in the sky, they don't look as large. So when it hits it on the horizon, it looks like it's bigger and more fulsome.
Through a lens. All right.
Sorry, I interrupted your streaming there, GM of Wonders.
All
He's not
good.
going to fly at my house because now he's just suddenly swerved south. Where are you going, KC 135D Strato tanker?
Who knows? All right. So we're all sorted together here. Then let me do this. I'll try this again. Hey everybody, we're starting a little late because we're all out enjoying the conjunction of Mars and Saturn in the sky. None of our group would possibly think that was UFO because we're nerds, but we're not that nerdly. But anyway, I'm going to bring our characters in, our players, excuse me, and then we're going to make some character sheets and just sort of jump through everything, and we'll see how this goes. And I'll just go right here to roll 20. And I think that's Felix's dog barking.
I don't have one.
Okay. Very good. So if you can see on roll 20 on the right side of the screen, you've got some character sheets that have your names on them.
It's Venus and Jupiter, not Mars.
Venus and Jupiter. Thank you for correcting me.
Venus and Jupiter.
Someone would have corrected me, I'm sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Venus and Jupiter, yeah?
Yeah.
Very cool. So Felix already has a character created, so depending on how you guys want to play this, he can either build another one or he can stick with what he's got. He's already has a crew. They're a crew of smugglers, he and Bugs. And if you guys are interested, we can throw you. It would be faster if basically you build your characters and jump into their crew. Otherwise, we can go through and build an entire new thing. It doesn't bother me. Up to you guys how you want to play that.
You're welcome to join us. We haven't made any major decisions other than where our hideout is. So it would be good if you joined us because then it would be a lot quicker anyway.
Preferences?
So, what character archetypes do you have? What playbooks are you using?
Have you played this rule set yet?
So he's using. Go ahead.
I'm familiar with Blazing the Dark. I've never played it, but I'm familiar with it. So, I'm just wondering what.
So in this game, I'm a leech.
So you got a leech.
Yeah.
And I think we got a hound.
Yes, Rob's playing a hound.
Rob's playing
Rob's a hound, and we got a leech. So I'd be happy playing a cutter then.
Very good. Very
That'd be
good.
a good idea. And it would be quite
I'll be
good
the
if
muscle.
I was also thinking it might be good if we have a spider as well.
Well, I think we need to wait and see what the champions have got to say.
Absolutely. Looking forward to hearing what they have.
All right, sorry, Christine's wrestling and we had a barking dog, so...
That's all good.
Yeah, so I was hoping to play a lurk, if that's okay with everyone.
Absolutely.
And Christine's got a whisper.
Ooh. Okay. With that said, what you're going to wind up doing is clicking on your character sheet that's on the list on the right, and it should open up and work for you as far as it'll open up. If it doesn't, let me know because then I have the settings incorrect. I will open up John's just as a sample on my screen. And what you're going to do, if you can see Roll20, is right in this place that it says playbook, you're actually going to have to type in which type of character you're going to have. When you do that,
Right.
it will modify the entire playbook for that.
Yeah. Done that.
Right. So once I type in cutter in there, it'll be fine, won't it?
Yes.
No,
Excellent.
top right.
Good, good.
So I'll be jumping back and forth from this screen to looking at your character sheets that I just pushed to you guys, which is sort of the character creation walkthrough. There are a couple of things I think it misses, but we'll knock this right out. So your second thing is to choose your heritage. And on your character sheet, you can find that just below on the top left. And I'll go back to John's character. And so it says heritage. And you type it above the word heritage, not below. And so you can see the different racial heritage that you have available below, and those I'll actually push you another little thing. They don't make any modifications to your character, but they will have some social impact on how things go. So let me find here. I think right here is exactly what we want. So here's the world, and it also describes a little bit the characters or the ethnicities available. So here in Duskval, the city where you guys are playing, which is up here at the top of the island of Akaros, most of people are Akarosi. The Akarosi run the empire, which is all of these islands. Okay? And so you can see little descriptions of the places on the side. And that'll give you an idea as you're looking at as what your heritage is. And don't feel like you have to really go over this a whole bunch. Your characters are going to probably die anyway, so don't get so excited about building them that you take so much time that you miss out on the game. And now that I've sent that to you, you should have that available. I think that stays available to you. Okay. So I see that John has put in Akaros, and he's got a name already, Volo Slain. On the character build, character creation. Come here. What's our next step? Oh, I see. So you've chosen your heritage. Now you choose a background, and there's a list of backgrounds available. And where is that? I'll find it here in the book and read it out to you. Sorry about this. Had it set up in the wrong location. Okay. My fault. And So you can choose. Oh my word! Like military service or some of the other backgrounds. I'm trying to get to that underworld. Never
So I've
fails.
chosen Underworld as mine
Yeah,
because he's from a dirt poor background and he ran with street gangs in his youth. And so
absolutely.
his background is very much, criminal underworld
Yes,
and
and so
extremism.
I'm sorry I didn't have this ready to go. Academic, like you're formerly a scholar or a professor or a student, or maybe a teacher, maybe a student, maybe a journalist. Labor, a servant, a factory worker, coach driver, something like that. Docker. Law, maybe you were a barrister, or maybe you were a blue coat, which is their law enforcement. Maybe a rail jack. Oh, excuse me. Maybe a prison guard from Iron Hook, something like that. Trade, a shopkeeper or a merchant, a craftsperson. Military, you're maybe a former Imperial or maybe Skovlander soldier or a mercenary, something like that, intelligence operative. Uh, Maybe you're a noble or were a noble as far as your standing, a dilettante, courtier, you know, someone from a fallen house. Or underworld. Maybe you come as a street urchin, or gang member, young thug, or an outcast of some sort. Or maybe even, you've done a couple of things that have put you in jail and you're a former, jailbird. Any of those things you can choose as your background. And really all that does is it gives us some color as we're playing. It does not change your character sheet up. You got that? Just you guys let me know when you're good there.
Oh, is it because of the background?
No, it shouldn't be.
Well, oh no, the background's still there. Okay.
All right.
Yep. Well done.
Am I all done?
Well, no, we're
I see, John, that you've already moved on to adding your dots.
Indeed, yeah.
All right. The only downside to how you place them is you have no dots in insight.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do your using your vice to take down your stress, you'll roll 2 dice and take the lowest. Okay, that's the only thing about that. And I have to reload.
Sorry, I don't understand why that's an issue.
No problem. It makes it harder for you to relieve your stress. And certain saving throws, those are used as saving throws. So you would roll 2 dice and take the lowest instead of rolling 2 dice like you would in prowess. And not a problem. Not at all. I just was wanting to make you aware so you're not shocked later and say, oh, I wish someone had told me.
Okay, so I don't know what to do then.
I think you just keep it like it is, unless you really feel a need to change it. I'm just letting you know that that's a repercussion of not having any dots in insight.
Yeah, it's worth having some dots in each group, but then you can specialize a bit more later. But
you don't have to, and don't feel you need to, because you've got now a tough he's not worrying about the thinking portion. You can always wait for you can always have your friends help you in some of things.
And
we the whole point is that he doesn't care. He's a meat bag, and he's
got
a meathead.
So have the rest. So the rest of you, we're in the assigning 4 action dots, where John was looking at that. I want you to, if you done that already?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you guys are fast. That's nice. And then let's see here. You're going to now choose a special ability, which is the bottom left. And John's already picked Infiltrator. That's great.
What?
Oh, it just read. It looks like you've checked it. You can check any of those special abilities, John. This is Pete's character. I apologize.
Not to be trifled with for me, thank you.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. You guys have actually gone through a good portion of this, which is phenomenal. And you now are choosing one close friend and one rival with your shady friends box over on the right.
Oh, okay.
For instance, I see that Pete's character here has Darmot, a blue coat, as someone that doesn't like him. And we also have Rosalind Kellis, a noble, who likes him. Oh, no, doesn't like him. I've got him backwards. Absolutely backwards. I apologize. I just saw red and went with, well, I assume it's red. Very good. And then you guys have picked your vice, I assume. I see it. And then after choosing your vice, you have your name. I'm seeing this. Your alias is a good, important thing. And we just sort of look at the details, and we are pretty well close to done.
What you to dislike?
Yeah.
And don't worry about your loadout or clicking any boxes in there. Those will come as we play, unless they come from a special ability. And what I'm going to do now, so that you guys can see it, if you so choose to follow along with the same crew, is I'll bring up Felix's character sheet, and I'll move it to crew mode. Notice where I clicked on there? Right here.
I can't see any of what you're doing, so...
No.
You can't see it on Roll20? Okay. Oh, that's right, because I understand why that is. Here, I'll do this. Let's see if that... it's fighting me. I'm trying to show it to you guys.
Share
Oh, come on.
Skype.
No, just a minute. It's
Bottom right of Skype.
just a minute. My Roll20 crapped out. I'm reloading it, and I'll be able to show this to you just exactly how I want to. So, apologize on that.
Can you see my screen?
And what I'll do is, here's Felix.
Yeah, I can see your screen, Felix.
And then, so he's in crew mode. Okay, Felix, you're showing that. So if you can walk through, actually, Felix, and talk through your crew and what you guys have already decided so that they can see what's on there.
Can you see my mouse and everything?
It's quite... Yeah,
Yeah, you can see the mouse?
It's very small.
Okay.
I can't read anything there.
Okay, so if you guys are clicked on crew mode.
If you click on crew mode above on the middle right. Have you got that?
I click on crew, yeah.
So crew mode. So you've got character mode, which is what you're in, and you want to click on.
Right, yeah.
Click on character mode until you get to crew mode.
Changes to crew mode, yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So if you start copying what I've got, and that means this is the screen where we put all the statistics for our crew, yeah?
Okay.
So above reputation, we've got daring.
Daring, okay.
Yeah.
Just
above,
type that in.
Just type that in, yeah.
And I'll
Has
pop
everyone
up.
Done that?
Here we go.
And then just above the lair mode, we've got the docks, because that's where our lair is.
Okay. Got it.
Yep. If you go to, I think up here, just below crew mode, and just type in shadows.
That's right, because you're not smugglers, you're shadows. That's
We're
right.
Shadow.
Which are thieves and spies, execute burglaries, espionage, robberies, and sabotage.
Well, I've got completely the wrong character then.
Well, no,
You'll be
we
needed.
need a mix.
Oh, you'll be needed. Definitely.
Always need the muscle.
Yeah.
If nothing else, to take the fall.
Okay, so just below shadows, can you see there's the crew upgrades?
Yeah.
And then below that we've got lair.
Yes.
So our lair is a boat, and we've got a 1 red dot in the boat.
Okay.
So basically, we own a fairly large but nondescript boat that can be painted different colours in case we get too much heat and we want to move to a different part of the universe and repaint it. But we're based on a movable boat.
So we've determined it's sort of a barge type that can manipulate in the larger canals, but would struggle with some of the small ones. That's about all we've determined on that.
Yeah.
And it serves also, as he has the workshop that's clicked in red, you have one of those, and you also have any of your tools or quality that you have there.
Tools.
So under quality we've got tools, and under training we've got prowess.
Okay.
Which, by the way, would be great for John's character. So you guys will get extra
prowess points,
extra experience points each end of game in that prowess one.
You can train in that.
And then they picked for their special abilities, everyone steals. Okay? And what's neat for that, for you guys, is you can go back to your character sheet and you add one more dot to prowl, finesse, or tinker. And you can actually take those to a maximum of 3 because of the special ability, instead of 2, which is the normal limit.
What? I have no idea what's going on.
So go back to your character sheet, crew class, is it? Now you can add 1 dot to prowl, finesse, or tinker.
And by the way, the name that they have is, they just put something down as a placeholder. So there is not a name for your crew yet. And that'll be something you guys can think about tonight as you go through. What should be known by. And once you've loaded all those in, have we missed anything that they need to have loaded, Felix? If not, we can go to the faction mode.
Factions is the only thing.
All right.
So
if you go ahead.
In the faction modes, can you see all the different factions?
So how you do that on your character sheet on the faction mode, there is a box that says generate factions. Click that, and it'll throw all the factions down onto your sheet. Okay. And let me know when you guys have got that sorted.
I don't see that. Where is that? Sorry.
Okay. So on your character sheet, I'm bringing it up, John. I'll show you where it is. So you're in character mode now, crew mode, faction mode. Right here where it says generate factions.
How did you get to that?
You click where you clicked crew mode. Click it one more time. It'll go to faction mode.
Nope. All I'm seeing is that it's in something like faction mode, but I now can't see my.
If you click on faction mode, it'll take you back to character, then crew, then faction.
Oh, I see.
Got it. Yeah. It's like a tab for.
Yes. Weird. Yeah. Okay.
And so once you get to faction mode, you'll see right under that it says generate factions. There you go.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So in that, Felix, tell them what you've got.
So in the blue coats, we've got -1.
So under institutions, the blue coats, which is the law, you have -1 with them.
And in the foundation, we've got -1 as well.
Under labor and trade, top one.
Labor and trade. Okay, -1. Yeah.
And then in to the right, under citizenry, under Brightstone, we've got +2.
Brightstone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea behind this is that Brightstone isn't where we're living. It's not in the docks, but it is part of our hunting grounds. And we get on very well with the citizenry there, so we can get an extra 1 or 2 dice if we need to use them for something.
Okay.
Right.
So
And then if you go back to the foundation,
Mhm.
these people are like the builders. They're
the
what would you call them?
powerful and ancient order of
Yeah.
architects and builders. Many
Yeah,
of
so
their
they're-
enemies have disappeared behind the brick and mortar of Duskval.
Yeah.
Can I just ask? Obviously, we've got a -1 in blue coats, but hasn't somebody got a friend in the blue coats?
I have.
Well, they may have a singular friend.
Yes.
But as a group, we're not liked because
Yes.
the blue coats are like the military police, which are quite corrupt in the area that we're knocking off now and again. So we're not they're not actively coming after us, but we've got a bad rep with them.
They may not know who you are yet, but they know of the existence of this group that's doing some stuff.
And then Brightstone is the residents, and then the foundation. Basically, we've upset them because I'm in demolitions, and I've kind of ruined a few of their buildings.
So you can see, I just pushed you up a Duskval map, as well as Duskval landmarks that has a list of the districts on the right. And as Felix said, they chose a place that is their hunting ground, and they chose a place that is where their lair is. And I think we've already put those on. Is that correct, Felix?
Yep. Can we can you make it so the map does you can share the point on the map?
Okay, I'm on it. Just give me a second.
We've only done one mission so far. And the missions are quite quick.
Here you are. And this is sort of your sheet. You notice that I've put on there the factions that you have problems with. Little numbers that are on the map correspond to things on the Duskval landmarks map that I gave you. So you will be able to click on this to set up have the rings, Felix, like that.
But so how do I get the rings? Because it's not working.
Make sure you're on the little arrow at the top left of Roll20 for select.
Yeah, I am.
And just hold down your left mouse.
I'm not seeing it.
No, it doesn't work.
It's not working for you.
No.
I mean, those factions are coming up as pop-up windows.
What?
They're not actually appearing in the main Roll20 area.
So, do you know how to add? Do you know how to increase and decrease the numbers on them?
Yes.
They don't have to do it.
So I do that. So I find that interesting that your Roll20 is not behaving as Roll20 should. That has something to do with the sheet where. Oh, I know exactly what's going on. Dum. Here you go. How's that?
That's it.
Rookie mistake. I did this last time we played too, so I get to admit it again to the world that I did not put the players on the correct map. So now you should be able to click on the map a little bit and tell them where you're at, Felix.
I can't. It doesn't show the point.
There it is.
That's me.
That's you. This is me.
I'm going to change my colour because
So what map are you
very
on?
close to John's colour. So
I must be on a different map because I can't see anything.
I was going to say, I'm happy to change it.
I'm going to go something
Okay.
else.
Felix, are you looking at Roll20?
Okay. Yeah, no, I've got it. I was on a different map. Okay, so basically we're moored up over here. Can you see that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just done a mission. Where was it? Was it down here?
Yes, it's Silkshore.
Silkshore.
Yeah.
We did a mission down here, we were commissioned by a friend of ours to try and abduct a prostitute from a house around this area for a famous duke or count or something.
So I'll be glad to throw this in here. So Valeris, one of their friends, a spy working for Lord Delvar, came to them and said, "Look, I got a job for you." They argued and fought a bit over money, and came out that they were going to get 6 coin, and they were going to ask for 7 coin, and she would take one of them, and they'd get 6. And they agreed to it. And with that understood, Lord Delvar has one thing on his mind. There's a new famous sex worker at this Keyhole Brothel, is the name of it, in Silkshore. And the way it works there is the sex workers have a golden collar on with a lock. Sadly, they are bound to obey the owner of the key. So people would go to the bar, get the key, and then be able to have their way. So very, very nefarious and evil. Well, this Lord Delvar, he wants to make an entrance, coming in already having the key to the most desired. So he's willing to throw money around to be able to make a social entrance. So what happened is, they went ahead and they forged some documents, an entry pass, using a family called Bertrand in White Crown, and snuck their way in, though they were nearly spotted by Magistrate Nog, who happens to know Bugs' character from his law days. They managed to avoid being seen by Magistrate Nog, and then inside there was a rival gang who were trying to do the same thing. Maybe Lord Delvar was hedging his bets. Not sure. I'm now getting an echo from my voice coming through from probably feedback from one of your guys'. Maybe I'm talking really loud. So the leader of this little band acquired the key, but our players had already drugged his drink, and so he wound up having to rush to the restroom where he was assaulted by our team, and the key was taken. They took the lady in question upstairs, a Vivienne, a Takarosi female, who just happens to have a massive opening peacock tail as her Takarosi weirdness. And they busted out a second floor window and took off. They happened to have been possibly seen by Magistrate Nog on the way out, and he may or may not have clocked the fact that that Bugs' character said it was running off with the prostitute, sex worker, excuse me. And we also think that possibly the Lamp Blacks might have, the one who is quasi-incapacitated may well have noticed who was messing with him, but we're not sure. So they didn't just take the golden key. They took the key, they took the collar, and they took Vivienne. They took them all out. And in this downtime, they haven't figured out quite what to do with all that. And so you guys are coming into that conundrum. We'll probably, this particular session won't deal as much with that, but it will be there in the background as a possible set of complications that you have already run into. Okay, with that as the background, the way that we sort of run this is we play it fairly cinematic. Feel free to describe yourself as though you're being filmed on an action TV show. Don't worry about overthinking a plan because you back plan. It's sort of like in a heist movie where oh no, there's the guard, and then they flash back to a point where, oh yeah, they had already bribed this guy or something. So it's a fast moving game. It's a lot of fun, and I think you guys might actually enjoy this. So what I'm going to do is jump down to. So you guys, there's a sort of a free play. Then we move into the heist, and then we move into downtime at the end. Is sort of how the game flows. All right. So we are in the free flow portion of the game, and this is where we will meet all of you, and we will then sort of discuss some things and have some ideas on how we can move forward. Now, I don't know your characters yet very well, so I'm going to have to ask you to help me out with who are your contacts and your any background pieces that I should know as you're doing your description, so that we can jump into this properly. All right.
I think we've lost Pete and Christine, haven't we?
Uh-oh.
I'm seeing Peter's frozen. Is it anybody else?
Can you hear me?
I can hear Pete.
Can't see you.
Not getting any video for some reason. Hang on, let me turn that off.
Pete, you're getting a lot of feedback from you as well.
Yes.
Well, okay. I don't know what I can do about that.
You've gone mute.
All right. Having a little
Pete,
video problems.
are you running Skype through a dedicated app? Or are you running it on a web browser? Because I was finding the web browser was a bit naff.
How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
Yep.
Whatever you've done.
It just restarted.
Okay. Well, that's one thing to do. Is
Christine there?
Yes, she is. She's just off to the right.
Oh.
Is
Okay,
John
yeah.
back on?
I'm here.
Okay.
Here I'm listening. It's just because I'm eating. I just didn't want to inflict.
No problem. Does anyone need a comfort break before we jump in?
I need a
Get a drink.
yeah. I need
Okay.
something to-
Then we'll do is we'll put this on a 5-minute break, and then we'll jump back into the game.
Okay.
Awesome. Go on. Go on. Out. Go on. Here we go.
Anthony, are you streaming this on Twitch or something, or YouTube or something?
Oh, looks like we've got a quorum. Okay. Get back across here. Is Christine ready too?
I want to get that to a point where I can actually read it.
Yeah, we're all ready.
I want to get this to a point where I can.
I just hit enter.
All right.
Unfortunately, you can't. You just have to scroll with the arrows.
Yeah, if you guys can give me a thumbs up when everybody's sort of ready, and then we'll start moving towards this. Okay. All right. Well, we're back from our break and getting ready to do our first heist as a team. Just wanted to thank you for sticking with us during the break, and here we go. So what I'm going to do is bring in the players to talk a little bit about their characters, and then we'll move across to the game board and start our game. And here are our players. So let's start at the top right, which of course you guys don't see, but I do, is John. What is your character's call sign?
I'm the brute.
I'm sorry?
I'm the brute.
Yes,
Slow.
is Brute your alias?
The brute.
The Brute.
It's a definite article.
Okay.
He's an enormous man,
That noise. That's not
wearing a white undershirt with the sleeves rolled up. His
Hey,
hairy,
Felix, can you
brawny
mute?
arms on display.
Go ahead.
His hairy, brawny arms and his massive fists on display. He's got mutton chops and a big bushy moustache. Baker Boy's hat is jammed on his enormous skull. He's wearing canvas trousers and hobnail boots. Incongruously, the trousers are held up with a pair of red and white pinstripe braces. Suspenders, as you would call them, if you're American. There's no way you could miss this man. No matter where he goes, wherever he is, he's always going to stand out. And yet, for some reason that isn't clear exactly, people forget that he was there. They seem to just miss the fact that he walked down the street, or he was stood in a pub, or he was involved in a fight with a bunch of blue coats.
Excellent. Let's have Pete and Christine jump in with theirs. Pete?
Yeah, so alias is Twitch, and if you ever see him, you know why. He's slender, small, but he's always seems to be moving. You know, he can't seem to keep still when he's in a social situation. He's a party guy. I mean, he loves to go out and get very, very drunk or hopped up on whatever the latest drug of choice is at the parties. Tends to wear a like a knitted cap, and his dark curly hair is always trying to escape from underneath it. Other than that, slim jacket, work trousers, soft boots.
Very good. I can see that vividly. Christine, tell us about Mara Moon.
So yes, so I go by Maramu. She is a very slim, wiry build character. Um, quite quite average in most ways. Mousy brown hair, nothing particularly apart from her silvery grey eyes that kind of flit around quite a lot looking about her. She's not really built much more into her at the moment. Unfortunately, she's kind of I'd say she kind of goes in the shadows a little bit more. She's a bit more.
So let me ask a couple of questions just to help with that fleshing out.
Yeah,
What does
yeah.
your fine spirit mask look like?
That's based on sort of a Japanese sort of style demon sort of. It's white with some intense maroon sort of patterns around the eyebrows and eyes. These fierce, snarling teeth. So it's very sort of Japanese Oriental sort of feel in its look. That sort of
Does it completely cover your
style.
features?
Other than my eyes, you can see the eyes, but yes, the rest of the features gone. Nothing else there.
Okay. And what do you do to de-stress? What is that vice that you have?
She's into the weird and unusual, so she's basically dealing with rogue spirits an awful lot. She's always looking for the next avenue to take her on a journey and an adventure.
Okay. So are you basically spirit trip?
Kind of, yeah. A little bit along those lines, yes, I think.
Okay. That's phenomenal. And Wrecker, let's hear about you.
Wrecker. My alias is Wrecker, but my real name is Fred Dibner. I'm a crusty
Fred Dibner.
Fred Dibner, yeah. I come across as being quite crusty and feral looking. Hardly look after myself very well. I wear Dockers trousers. I'd be quite easily kind of missed and not seen in the crowd. Previously, I used to be a military medic. I'm a purveyor of. My vice is pleasure, and that can take different forms. Occasionally, I participate in the pipe of opium, and I don't participate the red light district, but I may go to certain gentlemen's clubs to de-stress in the evenings or after a mission. I'm an expert in, I'm trying to be an expert in wrecking, prowling, and I can tinker as well. So I'm good at blowing things up, taking things to pieces, and I'm good with chemicals and medicine to a degree.
Very good.
My best friend is an apothecary called Stasia, and my worst enemy is Eckerd, who's a corpse thief and I caught him nicking the dead body of my mother, and I nearly killed him, but he got away.
Very good. So, Felix, in the game book, there's a number of alchemical things that are part of your playbook. It might be nice, to sort of look at some of those, so when we talk about the bandolier of alchemicals you've got, you can describe which ones are there. But those are in the book.
Is that?
So it's in the book that we've got the link to, and if you'll look under your particular character sheet, I'm pretty sure that it's in that section.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do is we'll move from here across to where everyone's here in Roll 20. And actually, I'm going to, right here, I have it all covered up. So as we discussed earlier when we were talking about the development of their crew of shadows, they've got a negative with the blue coats. They've got a plus as far as the citizens of Brightstone seem to like them for whichever reason that we'll discuss in gameplay. And they've slighted the labor and trade group, the Foundation, which is a very powerful group. Almost think like the Masons and then some. And they do have a clock ticking. And this is one that says that Magistrate Nog puts 2 and 2 together after having seen the character said it, Bugs, who is not here tonight, on their last mission. And that may fill up. You never know. Okay, so with that said, the camera once again starts out high and above this dark city. A city 1,000 years ago in this world, we'll jump to that, there was a terrible cataclysm. Maybe it was a sorcerer doing something with demons, I don't know, but the gates of death were burst open, and the sun itself shattered. Now, at dusk and at dawn, when those fragments of the sun creep above the horizon, there is a twilight time, but otherwise all is dark. And spirits, demons, horrific things wander the earth. And how has humanity survived? Well, in pockets to begin with. Using what they could, they rapidly developed technology to try and protect themselves using coal and steam and other things. And then they discovered that there was a source of power that actually infused their electrics with a spirit repellent and damaging quality. If they could sail into the midnight dark seas and spear Leviathan demons and siphon blood, they could render this and power many creations that would help them. The Sparkrights are those that put together mechanical things that are run on this Leviathan blood. The what is it called? The plasm, the electroplasm is what it's called when it's been rendered. A very toxic substance, by the way. And so here we live in a city that is surrounded by lightning towers to keep the hordes of undead shades away. And happen to be in a town that has more wealth flowing through it because the fleet that hunts these Leviathan leaves from here, heading points north. The ocean is no longer blue, it's ink black. But for some reason, looking into it, you can see constellations in the depths. Those that sail upon this sea are in complete blackness with stars above and stars below, which in itself can lead to madness over time. So in this cauldron are our crew. The camera swings down from looking across this Victorian-esque city that has bridges going between buildings, lots of stone cut buildings, some half timber buildings, lots of stone, across lots of canals, thinking like Venice and Prague and things like that, and down to the docks. And at the end of the docks sits an innocuous barge with some light from an alchemically run lantern at a table. Around this table sit 4 individuals discussing. And then preparing a meal behind them is a tall lady, dusky skin, who has a strange protrusion from her backside, a full-up peacock tail. They're sitting at the table and are discussing sort of how interesting it is that they've all sort of become a part of this crew. So, I'm just wondering here, off the top of my head, why is it that Volo Slain ended up in this group? I can't hear you.
That's simple to explain. This is the life I've always lived. I've always been a helper, a useful person to have around, you know, when somebody needs intimidating, when it's their face breaking, or maybe a few legs and arms torn off. That's what I'm here for. I'm the tip of the spear, the blunt tip, the one that you shove through the heart rather than piercing. That's my job. I go where there's work, and this crew, this is a good crew, good people. Oh yeah, all of them would stab you in the back, but that's all right. I cheerfully toss them in the sea, given half a chance. That's if they cross me, of course, and they never have. They've always had my back. That's why I'm here.
Mara, how do you follow that?
Carefully. Round. Is it false?
Yeah, follow.
I'm not hearing you very well.
Sorry. So it's always wise to be careful around Volo. He best to stay in the shadows. Keep behind him. But he's very useful for keeping you safe.
And why did you wind up with your particular skill set in this group, do we think?
Not really sure, to be honest.
That's fine. We can figure that out in play, if as you prefer.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why I've ended up in this group. I think the spirits have led me here, but I'm unsure to where they really want to take me yet. So
Could it be that we had a reunion last night, and a lot was drunk, and then in the early hours of the morning we decided to reform our old crew?
I don't mind. Whatever you guys say.
This is the
That's
point
fine
of this game, is that we can put all these details in as we're playing the game. It doesn't have to be set out first, which is the
Absolutely.
kind of, and that's the way the game plays out as well.
Yes. So, as you guys are sort of talking amongst yourselves, once again, sort of like happened last time, you hear steps up the gangplank. Even though we momentarily glimpsed you through the curtains with the camera of this game. You do have them shut most of the way because you don't want anyone to know that Vivienne is here. You haven't quite decided how to deal with this particular problem. So those steps are coming across, and they move to the hatch, and you hear a polite knock on the hatch.
I'll get it.
So happens that you recognize Grace.
Grace?
Brute. So Grace is a contortionist. How do you know her, and what does she look like?
A strangely shaped woman.
Oh.
Not shaped like most women. Something missing around the middle. You know, buttocks, thighs. No meat to her. Strange looking. But you know what? Incredibly clever. She can fit herself through any hole. Need a window opening? Need a door opening and there's a window open? You can feed her through that window. As long as a skull can get through, the rest of it can too. Genius. She's got short, slicked back black hair, brown eyes, and yet weirdly, she has freckles.
So, where does she ply her trade?
Well, she's a specialist, is Grace. So, you know, you call on her if you need her. She's one of those kind of people. Get me?
Got it.
You know, she come down and help us when we need it. I mean, there's been a fair few times I've boosted her up a floor or two on a building. She can climb too. Pretty much genius at that, but just in case. Oh, and there's the odd occasion when she's jumped out the other side as well. And I've had to catch her on the way down. Never a problem for someone like her, of course. She's a mid-slip of a girl. Grab her out of thin air. Pretty much straightforward.
So she provides that bright smile that you know so well, crinkling up around those freckles. She says, "You gonna let me in? Are you hiding something?"
Of course, my darling, come on in.
So the rest of you see that he has just let this lady previously described into the room. And she immediately clocks Vivienne over by the stove and says, "Oh, well, that answers the question." And then she walks over to the table and sits next to Mara. She nods to you, Mara. I don't think any of you know her, or maybe you do. Would anyone happen to know the Brute's friend here? Grace?
Twitch is teetering on the back legs of his chair with one foot on the table, sort of twitching away, and his hands in his pocket. He nods to Grace. He knows that we're in a similar line of work.
She nods back. Probably knows you by reputation. She says, "Twitch, I wasn't aware that you were working with my good friend here again, the Brute."
Well, Brute, I mean, I don't know him, but Wrecker, we've been to a few parties together.
Ah, I understand. I come with some information, and I'd be willing to part with it for, let's just call it a coin between friends. I've got a line on someone who needs help getting out of town in a hurry, and they'd be willing to pay a lot as they're hiding out and don't have a means to exit the town. If you're interested. As far as I know, the guy's loaded.
Always looking for a score.
Guy goes by the name Wick. So this resonates with all of you. Wick is sort of a semi-retired jewelry thief, art thief, was renowned maybe a decade or so ago, and has gone to ground and sort of disappeared.
Oh, I know the name.
Yeah, he's got himself in a jam with some folks, and it just so happens that Wick's a bit of an artist, let's put it that way. I may have done some posing for him. And he asked me if I had any friends that might be able to find a way to get him out of the city.
What do you think he's good for?
I think he's probably good for, I don't know, who knows, 6, 8, 12 coin. I mean, it's hard to tell. The guy was loaded last we knew. I don't know how hard you want to squeeze him.
Is he trustworthy?
Oh, as much as any of us are, I guess.
Not as far as I know. Not according to his reputation.
How can we guarantee it?
Guarantee what?
His trustworthiness.
I don't think you can. But I do think that you've got him. He's between a rock and a hard place.
Easy. It's easy money. Half up front.
Well, what I can give you for a coin is his location. And then you guys can negotiate with him. See how this plays out.
You're not shining us on, are you, Grace?
No.
You would do that.
No, he's absolutely gone to ground and does not have a way out. So when he told me find somebody, I thought of you.
Yeah.
If this information is not valuable, would you take the coin after we make a deal with him?
I see what you're trying to do.
The boy. Same as you can trust me.
Very good. She's pleased when you say that.
So, will you put the coin up for her then?
What kind of madness would that be?
Very good.
I reach into my wallet, or reach into my pouch.
Very good.
Pull out a coin, and using my thumb and forefinger, I just toss it almost expertly across the room, just to straight towards Grace.
Well, if he trusts
the rest of these cheapskates seem to be struggling with this.
If he trusts her, then it's good enough for me.
So she pushes the coin into her pouch and says, "Well, that's good enough for me. Thank you, by the way, Brute." And she does a little. Well, she stands and does one of those lean over where she bends all the way in half and then smiles back up between her legs at you, just to prove that she still has it. And then she kicks her feet over, comes back to standing in one really graceful movement, which is how she got her name. She says, here's the deal. If you go into the tunnels beneath Char Hollow, you pull your barge around. You can go right in. Just swim in or walk in, and you can go from there to if you follow the main sewer tunnel in, take 3 lefts, and you'll come to a grate. And at that grate, it's locked. So you can fix that. Pop the lock, move through, and take another left, and there's a small chamber, probably one of the work chambers, and he's hiding there.
he expecting us to?
He's expecting me to have sent someone because he gave me some coin to do so.
Making double coin then.
Well, I was paid to deliver information, and information's not free. And she grins again. Does you guys do as you choose? I am perfectly glad to step out now. I see that you have your hands full, and her eyes move across to Vivienne, who is just now bringing over bowls of eel and mushroom stew.
I don't actually think you've seen anything here today, Grace, have you?
Well, of course not. Not for an old friend. Notice she does not try to charge you for this, and probably because she doesn't want to receive any repercussions. Of course not. And since I'm probably one of the few people who know this, that's I definitely understand. Though I do applaud the audacity. She just shakes her head. Vivienne smiles back at her with she has two incisors that are slightly longer than you would expect. And that gives a little chill to Grace, who then turns on her heel and says, "With that, I think I'm out." Do you use any last questions before she goes? Main sewer entrance, coming out of Crow's Foot. Left, left, left. Great. Locked. Left. Good. Now, normally we would go into the actual heist here. However, I do need a couple of one other little piece of information from you guys before we sort of head that way. Is how do you plan to get this guy out of town? There's a couple of ways. You might be able to just get him out the gates into the Deadlands. Maybe he'd put up with that. Maybe you smuggle him onto a rail car leaving to one of the other towns. Maybe you get him onto one of the Leviathan hunting ships that is known to port somewhere else. So those are just some ideas, and they're not the only things. And then what I'll say now is that you have that and your thoughts. This is where we move from the whole thing to planning, engagement, and now we're making this roll, right? So this is the plan you've already made. All I need to know is this an assault? Is this a deception? Is this a stealth? Is this an occult? Is this a social? Or is this a transport? So for an assault, it's doing violence to a target. And I will ask, what is your point of attack? For deception, it's a lure, trick, or manipulate. Okay. And I will ask, what is your method of deception? Stealth is to trespass unseen. And then I'll ask for, what is your point of infiltration? And then occult is engage in some supernatural power. And then that is, we'll say, what is the arcane method being used? And then social is negotiate, bargain, and persuade. And then I'll ask what your social connection is. And then transport is to carry cargo or people through danger. And then that's the route and means. So whatever way, I'm completely agnostic to how you go about doing this. I will simply ask you the detail, and then we'll move forward.
I mean, I'm leaning towards somewhere between stealth and transport. Get him onto a train.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking train anyway.
Okay.
Yep, definitely.
So,
Train's good.
so what is So are we going after stealth? Or are we going through transport?
Well, we're kind of trying. We're probably stealth because if we want to get him onto a train,
Okay.
then we need to get him to get him onto a train that's
Anonymously.
anonymously. Yes.
Very good.
I imagine.
The other
What is the security like on the trains? Is it?
It's pretty stiff.
People, yeah.
So you've got the yard workers, and you've got blue coats in the area. It's one of the few places that you have people coming in and out from other cities. So anyone that's doing that is usually fairly wealthy, though the trains are long, and they do have a number of cargo holes, cargo.
We want him on
cards.
one of the overnight eel trains, don't we?
Could easily be, and there's plenty of those. So, things that come from here. There's tankers full of electroplasm.
Dogs like smelling.
Yeah, that's not a bad thought. So, with those thoughts, are we going with stealth?
Yeah.
Okay. So then my only question is, what is your point of infiltration? I think we sort of discussed that by saying you're trying to get them onto a train cart. One of the specifically one that's going to it's got something that's going to cover up smell, like one of the maybe one of the mushroom carts, or maybe one of the dried eels that are going out to other locations. So those type of things I could easily see to be your point of entry. So the next piece that we're looking at is your item loadout. So if you look at your character, and then I'll bring Christine's character up just as a sample. I don't know, did you click those in red that are on your items that don't count for your load?
Yeah, I did.
All right, don't worry about that. What we do now is up in load, up above, and in fact, if any of you guys have anything clicked in there, just do the reset to make it empty. So you're going to pick whether you're going to have a light, normal, or heavy load. So how this works is, if you have a light load, basically you could walk through a crowd and no one thinks that you're a thief, crook, anyone doing anything. If you have a normal load, that means you probably have a little backpack, a little something at the side. Maybe you're carrying a sword openly. You stand out a little bit. And 6 is your special ops, loaded for bear. You've got big backpack, stuff hanging off your side, all that other stuff. Okay? So you pick now what your load is. And then as we move through the game, when you need something, you tell me what it is, and you just click it off. Let's say on Christine's character, she decides she needs a pistol. So she would click it, and that counts as 1 against her load of whatever her load is. Okay? And when you run out of load, you don't have anything else. So we don't worry about what you've got until the moment you need it. Okay? And then you've got a bunch of things that you don't even need to count against your load. Okay? You can just always say, I've got this, click it, and use it. Cool? Some of them have 2 squares or 3, and that would cost you that. 2 or 3. Okay? Like an armor or climbing gear or demolition tools. Okay? So that's how that particularly works as far as this mechanic of the game, which is sort of fun. All right. So if you guys don't have to pick the same loadout. Different people can do different things. Everybody do their own thing. But I do want to hear what they are. Wrecker, what's yours? What's your load, Wrecker?
Yeah, my thought is that we should go for something heavy because there's a good chance we might be going to a train station, and if we are, then we're not going to stand out carrying large amounts of luggage. So it depends on where we're going. If we decide to go to a train station, then that's probably a good idea. If we're doing a bit more, if we're infiltrating somewhere that isn't heavily populated and we want to keep a low profile, then obviously light is going to be a better idea. So we need to plan on where we're going.
mean, I would say if we're doing it if we were going actually into the train station, then I would agree with you. But then I think that would be a different type of mission, because that would be more of a, bluff, subterfuge, that kind of thing, spy type mission. If we're going with stealth, we're trying to sneak him onto the train, so we want to stay out of sight. So
Yeah, we're going to bust into the rail yard and sneak through the rail yard through the trains. And
Okay. So how do you? Let's go ahead and make those calls. What are you going to carry, Felix?
Yeah, but again,
In which case, I'm going to go light because I don't want to get seen.
Okay. Click light. Everybody else, click the ones you choose. Okay.
I mean, I don't think it has. Your load doesn't have any effect on things like prowl or anything like that, does it?
It can, in that it basically just gives the game master the opportunity to say, you're carrying a whole bunch of stuff when you try and jump across there. I'll take a die away.
Okay, yeah.
But there's no serious mechanic that you have to worry about.
I'm going light as well then.
All right. That's interesting. So here we
I've
go.
gone light because the things that I need, I've gone light with. So I'm carrying my serrated knife that I mainly use to just terrify people with. It's basically just an absolutely terrifying looking sharp thing.
Very good.
Then I've got manacles and my manacles and chain, my rage essence vial, and my spirit bane charm.
So, by the way, you don't, John. You don't pick what you want on there. Don't pick. You pick when the time comes, which is really amazing. So don't worry about any of that at all. All you tell me is your load.
Okay.
And when the time comes, you just tell me what you got. Because you've planned ahead, obviously. So if you see the map in front of you, which is off of a wonderful Patreon site, this guy makes tons of maps for this particular game. And by the way, let me show you something for when we do play this in person. Hang tight.
Is anybody getting feedback from me?
No.
Because I'm perpetually blue and I don't understand why.
So, if you can see this, I had one of these bad boys printed out.
That's nice.
To go across the table when we play. Should be anyway, a fun little prop just for jollies. And put that behind me. So the point of entry that you're dealing with right here is somewhere right about over in here is the main sewage dumping out into the Dosk River. And you guys have unmoored your barge. I assume Vivienne's coming with you for this part.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like we have anywhere to stash her, so I guess so.
Okay.
We might want to put her out of sight of our guest, Wick.
So you send her to her room, sort of to keep her out of sight, having already sadly exposed the fact that you have her. Though you do, if something goes wrong, you don't think anyone knows you've got her except for possibly Magistrate Nog and now your friend Grace. And maybe some members of the stupid Lamp Black. Dang it, more people know than should. Okay.
Can I ask something very quickly? Sorry. Hello?
I'm here. I hear you.
Yeah. Just below stress, there's harm, and there's three numbers below it. I'm just wondering what all that bit is about.
Okay. So if you get hurt, I will tell you if it's going to be a first level, second level, third level harm, and tell you what to write next to it. Okay. So like the third level might be a punctured lung, whereas a second level might be a slash to the ribs, whereas a first level might just be you got a huge bruise across your torso where you got hit. Okay?
Okay.
And they do impact the fact if you have 2 first levels, you start losing dice. And if you have others, you start losing dice. If you have a 4th level, you're dead. Now, there are a lot of neat mechanics that we're learning as we go in this game. We've talked a little bit about flashbacks and how you can move backwards in time to solve some of your problems and show how you planned ahead. We've talked about how your characters are able to use things that they've not planned ahead to have. They just have them. And another thing that you can do is resist things that happen to you. So, for instance, if I say, yep, the guy swings his sword at your head, it goes to kill you, and you fail your score, and so it's going to hit you, you can resist that. And with the proper roll and stress, you can move it down to, instead of being a level 4, we can move it down to a level 3. That type of thing. Okay? So you can always resist any harm. Just remember that. The real thing that usually kills you in this game is your stress. But you need to use the stress to make everything work. When you run out of stress, you take trauma. When you've taken enough trauma, you're done with the game. You're retired. Okay? Or if you run through all your stress, you suddenly don't have a means to avoid the actual physical harm. Okay? So with that said, you guys have unmoored, and you have a couple of small engines on the back, alchemically run, that are putting as you move through the darkness and round the corner and down the Dosk River towards Char Hollow. It doesn't take you very long at all, moving past to say that the shores are teeming would be unfair, because it is roughly the sleeping time of everyone, even though it's just pitch dark. And you can see ahead of you the yawning half-moon mouth of the sewer going underneath Char Hollow. At this time of night, not a lot is being pumped out, but the water is not particularly appetizing, we'll say. So what do you guys do?
Sorry, we lost you there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Was that me?
Keep us in close.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear Anthony. I don't hear you, Pete. So if you're not hearing Anthony,
thumbs up if you can hear me. No.
I can hear you.
Oh,
I
can hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
We can't hear you for some reason.
You can't hear any of us? No.
Just me.
Can you hear me?
Let's see. Let's try. I'm gonna.
Let's all yell at Pete very loudly.
Yay! How about want to drop the call and come back in really fast? Oh, they're doing that. Okay. Let's let them drop off and come back in and see what happens, and then we'll
Skype
move
did
forward.
that to me earlier.
So, trying out the audio visual on Roll20 might be perfect.
I think it might be worth a try.
Yeah.
And if not, I mean,
I'm
still
can't hear anyone.
I can hear you.
Still can't hear.
Okay, we'll drop off.
Change your speaker settings output.
Why can we not hear anyone?
When we're talking.
Boom.
Wow, wow.
No, it's not working. Right. Okay. Let's try something else.
And by the way, John, since you're on here, you can hear the video from last time that they played is up on YouTube as well as Twitch for a little bit, and it's I think sadly the very best one I've done so far, just because the audio's there, everything works. It's like, holy crap, why can't I get this to work here? So next time we do something in person, we'll have to throw in an extra little effort to get everything working back behind us here at this table in my office.
Did you use Skype for the session the other night then?
Yes. So the thing that Skype allows is the VDI off Skype gets peeled apart and turned into stuff that I can put into the actual XSplit broadcaster I'm using.
Yeah.
So if I display a website, just because the video is coming on at the bottom doesn't necessarily mean it's pulling it out as a video audio stream. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and same with Discord. It doesn't recognize Discord, but it definitely recognizes Skype. And now that Skype lets you pull apart its stream to individual NDIs, it's the way that works the easiest for some of these tools.
What I don't understand is why Skype is so flaky.
Me either.
Really rock solid,
especially with the amount of money put into it.
Yeah. But we're all having. I mean, well, okay. So Felix isn't, and you're not, but
yeah.
Pete, Christina, and I am tonight. We're having problems, and Felix, you were saying, are you using the app? And the answer is, yeah, I'm using the app. I wouldn't use the, I'm using the desktop software on Windows. I'm using the desktop software on Windows.
It's working now. It's probably just a setting.
No, but I've lost my. Twice I've had to restart Skype tonight. Okay. Pete, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello, Pete. He's now frozen.
Oh no, he's not frozen. He's moving. I can see him.
Again now.
He's talking because his blue thing's up there, but we can't hear him.
That's strange.
Still getting that background sound from Felix as well.
He might be changing his microphone or something, or webcam.
No problem. So for those that are watching on the broadcast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us on a break on there as we work through this in the background.
Ooh, Pete in high definition now.
Don't understand. It was always rock solid, Scott was.
Yeah. We'll just hang here for a minute.
How do you update it nowadays? Does it
I don't know.
just update via the store, or does it need it?
I don't know how you typed on there, Felix, but what do you think about if we said we could just all shut down and come back up?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I was going to do that now anyway.
Okay, well, that's what I was trying to say is maybe we could tell them that so they do it as well.
Yeah, put it in the chat on Roll20.
Okay, let's do that. That's a good idea.
I'm Bailey.
Okay.
You're on the other side, folks.
Have you come back or?
Nope, I'm still typing.
Okay.
Just going slow. Okay, there, done it. Whoa.
Hello.
Do we have success?
We have success, hopefully.
By going to a completely different device.
Yeah, well, same device, just a different angle.
All right.
Crazy.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't cross-platform with the website very well.
Is that your iPad, Pete?
Yeah.
Were you using the website? Using Safari?
Yeah.
Okay. Safari is probably the worst browser on the planet.
Yeah.
That's the problem is
It's taken the place of Internet Explorer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
All right.
hopefully this will be better.
Yes.
So we're about to jump back into the fray.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No. So what I'd like to do now, as we come back in, is before we actually move too much further forward, I'd like to do what is called the engagement roll. And this is the next little piece that happens when you're doing an engagement. We've determined that we're using stealth. We've determined that we figured out the question involved, which is your point of ingress, which is you're planning to sneak him onto a train car. So I need to go through and ask a couple of questions. You guys can argue these as you'd like. So this is basically going to be a fortune roll, which is a couple of d6 to see how well you guys are positioned in this game, in this score. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? What do you think?
I think it's
Averagely bold.
no. I mean, I would imagine it's something that happens fairly regularly.
Okay, so maybe not particularly bold or daring, because you just grabbing a guy and taking him, or do you think that anything particularly crazy about this?
I'll tell you what's bold and daring about it.
Okay.
Busting into the train yard. That's a place I normally avoid, even me.
Okay,
Gangs of heavies in there.
So you guys are
Roaming the
going
place,
against a fairly
keeping it safe.
significant location. Okay.
Yeah.
I will, in that case, let you have that extra dice. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Nope, I don't think so. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? I think they do. So that's minus a die, so you're still at one die.
I'll tell you what we're going to do, though. We'll save it right until the end of sleep time. When they're at their most tired, when they're at the most vulnerable, when their attention is wandered the most, right at the end of their shift.
Makes sense.
Just before everything starts to wake up again. And that's when we hit them. That's when we smuggle in.
Sounds great. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Nope. Are there any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? Well, I'm not going to take a die away from that, but you may find some stuff.
I thought your contact might be able to help us a little bit.
All right.
What, the blue coats?
So don't worry about that yet. That can be in there, but it's not. That one probably will not play as far as this roll. So as far as I can tell, we've got one.
Anyone got a good
Go ahead.
Shady friend? Has anyone got a good shady friend that could be useful in this situation?
I'm willing to hear.
I'm wondering whether we should try for a distraction.
Okay. So, with this understanding of where we're at, I'm seeing it's a 1d6, unless you guys can tell me any different for your position at the beginning of this. Okay. The die is rolled. 3. So, let's see here what that's going to mean. So you start in a desperate position when the action starts. So what that means is things are not going as well as they should immediately. In fact, they're going poorly. So what I will say is, as you come to a slowdown in front of the sewer, you notice two things. One, there's a new grate that covers the mouth. And two, there's a blue coat riverboat, patrol boat, that is coming out right about here and is then going to turn one direction or the other. What do you guys do?
Well, I think we should sail past until watch out for the blue coats. So we don't want to see them. We don't want them to see us going down there. It's going to take me some time to get through that gate.
Very good.
No, it won't. We can get through there quick. Give me the chance.
What do you guys want to do? You're right at the mouth.
Which way's the blue coats going?
So their nose is just pointing out of this as you are about even with the entrance.
Slow down the barge.
Okay, you slow down, and I'm going to roll simply a little chance roll. And they turn your way. One to three was
So
the other direction.
There's only two of them, yeah?
No, there's a small boat. There's a smaller boat that has a searchlight mounted that's not turned on. It does have an alchemically driven lightning cannon at the top of it, and looks like two or three blue coats are sitting on there. Not particularly too worried about anything. It's early enough at the night that they're not, they're not too concerned. Things are going absolutely crazy out here. There are other boats out here. You're just happen to be slowing down at an unusual spot. Okay? What do you guys do?
Someone better fast talk them in.
If they're not worried about us, can we not just pass them?
Keep moving. Keep calm. Keep moving. Everyone under cover.
Okay, I heard a couple of ideas. What are you guys going with as a group?
I'm going to hide.
Very good.
I'm actually going to go below deck and.
Okay, so you slip below deck.
Down. Yeah, same here.
And you're a big hulk, and so do you. Who's on the engine and back? Who's driving? Sort of a tiller in back.
I'll drive.
Okay, so Wrecker, you're back there. You move past the mouth of the sewer, sort of upstream, and there is a slight current going downstream towards the mouth of the river. And you're now abreast of the Blue Coat patrol craft. There's a tall man standing on the lightning cannon. The other two are talking. And he sort of spins the lightning cannon down and trains it across your ship as they go by. He's smoking a cigar. He tips his hat at you. And then they cruise right on by. And you can continue as long as they're here. They actually make a turn here into this particular channel. And you guys are right about here when they do that. You want to turn back around to get here?
So you just cut it and turn back, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Where are we going? Where are we going to?
Right about here.
Okay.
So a U-turn in the river is slightly unusual. However, it is fairly dark, and there are a couple of other river barges here. There's no roll required to make this happen. You guys turn and cruise back, and are now with your opposite side against the fairly close as you slow down in front of the grate.
Right. Pop
pop the hatch and up onto the deck, squirrel across the deck, keeping low, just so people don't really see what I'm up to.
Very good.
I'm going to lean over the side, and I'm just going to grab hold of the
nice.
coaming of the pipe, because presumably this is a big pipe that sticks out. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that right? There's a big pipe that sticks out into the
absolutely. So you can grab that.
Okay. I'm just going to grab hold of the coaming of the pipe to basically stabilise the vessel. And once that works, I'm going to pull myself forward. I'm going to get into the gap in front of the grate.
This sounds to me.
And I want to just have a look. I'm sort of holding onto the top of the pipe, and I'm standing in the pipe, looking at the grate. Is the grate like right up against the end of the pipe, or is there a gap?
There's a gap. There's a gap underneath, about 2 feet back.
Hand up on the pipe. I'm looking at what it looks like.
So what I'd like to do, you know what? I think you can do that without a roll. So the pipe itself is about half underwater into the river. Okay? So you're sort of up to your waist in water.
Not an issue.
And you're feeling around it, and you investigate along, and you can see that it does have a large lock embedded into the metal up on the very top. So the grills are running up and down. There's a vertically. Mm-hmm. There are bars, and there's none going side to side. And but there is a big lock right at the top of it. Okay. The key looks like it would be about the size of your fist that would go in there.
My boots come out in sort of almost like a star jump shape to lock me into place in the pipe. Okay. My left hand comes up to hold on to the outer pipe. My right hand goes around the grate, and I tear the lock out.
Oh, are you using one of your special skills?
I am indeed. I mean, you see, basically, for the rest of you who are watching, the muscles just come up on my body, my veins throb, and I just put an enormous amount of pressure on this.
So I will ask for a roll. So give me a roll on that. So what are you going to use?
I'm going to use Wreck.
I love it. So you use Wreck, and you're using your special skill, so I'll go ahead and give yourself an extra die on that.
Okay. What happens if I click this button?
Is there anyone else? It's actually not the button, it's the word, I think. And what it's going to say is, I'll say you're in a controlled position, and you have standard effect. And can anyone else help him in any way that would give him an extra die, or are we just how it is?
I don't think you can.
Okay. Very good. Look at that. 5, 5, 4. So 5 is a success with a consequence. All right. So bang, you pop the lock right off. In fact, you sort of tear it loose a little bit. However, in the process, you do make a decent amount of noise. Mm-hmm. Those of you who are on deck, there are people walking down the strand there, and you see that there is a patrol of blue coats that are walking. They're walking up this direction, and they seem to have heard a noise and are very interested in what the heck's happening. So what we're going to do on that is, and I'll show you. I'll show you once Roll20 lets me show you, because it's being twitchy to me. I really think I'm asking too much.
Just to jump in, can I get the other side of that grate and then kind of pull it close behind me and lurk in the dark?
Yes, you may. And but what I'll do is I'm going to start.
As soon as it's loose, that's what I'm going to do.
We're going to start a clock.
Because of the noise.
Yeah. John, can you go to your settings and turn your dice on?
Yes. Turn on your 3D dice so we can see that. That's much more fun for everybody. Oh my word! Roll20 is really fighting me.
How many are there in this patrol?
I don't know. How do we do that?
Just go to
There's 3 dudes with carrying looks like old muskets.
I'm just going to do that roll again, although I'm not actually going to do the roll.
Yeah, just to see how it looks on there.
Yeah.
Dice options.
And did it go? Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
So I'm going to go here. Go here. And I'm going to pull this down to you guys. And what we're going to wind up doing is, and then this is a little harder than it would be if we were just standing right together at the table. I'm going to write in here. Bum, 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 and then say bum, bum. That makes me grumpy. There we go. So we have this here, and so the blue coats will be completely clocked to you guys coming through here when this particular pie fills up, which can be filled up by other failures you guys might have. Okay? And that's how clocks work in this game. Okay, you have that busted open. Your ship is not moored. What are you going to do to push against the current that's going down this particular river? Are you going to reverse the motors? What's your plan?
I think the plan is we're going to have to reverse the motors.
Okay.
We're not more up.
Or do we basically just go? Blue coats are coming over.
They're just walking along.
Yeah. How about we just head on downstream? Brute is hidden in there, hidden in the pipe, standing there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Brute's not going anywhere. You're fine.
So if we go up, then we come back down the other side.
Okay.
And as we go up, because it's going to be easier to turn in there going upstream, because we're not being pushed downstream.
Okay.
So come up the other side and then just angle in.
So you start that maneuver, and what I'm gonna, I wouldn't ask because I think this is a fairly standard motion, but what I am gonna ask for an action because I'm just feeling ridiculously mean right now, and your desperate position is making me think that. So what role do you guys do for this particular maneuver?
What's that? Probably a finesse roll.
Okay. Well, finesse is yeah, I mean, you can call it that. It is your hand-eye dexterity and everything else. Absolutely. Can anyone help with this?
Okay. Yeah, I can give a hand. Yeah, handler vehicle. It says here, finesse and items.
Okay. So who would help you on that?
So I've got finesse 1. Anyone?
Okay. So if you look at your character sheets, you'll see that it's got some interesting information on there. It actually has a ridiculous amount of information on there. So for a bonus die, if you see there, you can push yourself and take 2 stress and get another dice. You could ask for a devil's bargain, or you can actually help other people for a. So you can assist a teammate, and as far as teamwork, and when you do that, it can give them an extra dice, but it costs you stress.
Okay.
I don't have finesse, but I'm more than happy to.
Do you want to call out for his position from the front as he is maneuvering?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do that. And for the measly cost, and I need to see this up here really quickly. I wish I had someone else I could ask, but the stress on that is I would give you an extra die. But what'd you roll? I didn't see that.
Don't worry about me. That was me.
Okay.
Ignore me.
So
Rekka, are you? What finesse have you got?
I've got finesse 1.
it's not that he's got finesse, but he could use it. You're right.
I've got
with
finesse.
assist, does it matter what the other person has?
It does not. So they can help you in whatever way they say. Okay? So you can take one stress and just say how you help your buddy, and they get an extra dice.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll do that then.
Okay, so mark a stress on yourself, and you're helping him as he moves forward, so he'll now have 2 dice. Felix, Wrecker, is there a way that you could help as well to give him a 3rd die if you're interested?
Pulling out directions from the front.
This is just steering the boat.
He's steering the boat, yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, but we've got to get into a narrow channel.
And you're go ahead.
Would it help to have any light?
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, you're not want to draw attention.
I'm going to put on. Twitch is going to put on his dark side goggles, so he can see what's going on. Okay,
so that's called using an item. So click your item on there, and you're going to get yourself an extra dice for that. So you now are up to 3 dice for this maneuver. And the reason I'm calling for this roll is because of this clock that started. Because if you hork up this maneuver, it might cause people that are elsewhere to look over and go, what's that about? Okay?
Yep.
So with that said, you have 3 dice, unless Felix can come up with a way he's helping rapidly.
I can't think of anything, to be honest. I haven't got anything. I haven't got any tools or anything.
That's fine. All good. So 3 dice. So Felix, so you're going to click on the button, and I'm going to say that this is a risky situation with a standard effect. Okay? You'll absolutely succeed if you succeed. However, it's a little risky because it may well draw attention to yourself if you guys dork this up.
The bonus dice 2.
Yep. So let's see what happens in this maneuver. Oh, there's the 6 we wanted. So, total success. You have maneuvered the barge magnificently. You miss a small vessel just barely that was trundling along. The old lady who's in it shakes her fist at you. You can see she's been doing some eel fishing. And then now you're roughly opposite the grate there, and you're sort of on the side of Silk Shore.
You realise that's down to your 2nd dice, which is the sublime calling out of your assistant at the front end.
Very true.
I'm still having a hard time hearing you guys. It may be because I have things turned down on my own, so I'm hoping you're really loud. Go ahead.
I'll try. I can't control it, but I'll try and bring it a bit closer.
Okay. Do you want to go across the channel to where you're next to Char Hollow? And by the way, none of you guys can see the brute. He has concealed himself in the darkness inside there.
Yeah, we're gonna head in.
Okay, so you guys cross the channel. So usually in the channel, it's let's say that they drive British side, but it's you're up one way, down another way, etc. But you guys are now across with your prow pointed down the Doss River towards the North Hook Channel, and you have come to a rough stop. You have the engines on very low to sort of match the push that's coming from, or actually no, in reverse, to push against the current that's trying to drive you downstream, which makes its own set of noise.
I must admit I'm confused because the plan was to come
Okay.
upstream.
You go upstream,
turn in,
and turn back. Very good.
No, just basically turn across the channel into the pipe.
Okay, you're way too big for the pipe. I'm sorry about that. Should have said your actual ship is too big for that pipe by
Yeah,
about
I only,
by about twice.
I assumed we were. That's my fault.
No. That's my bad as a GM for not describing that properly.
So basically, we need to just dock up.
Yes, you do. So is your prow pointing towards the Northhook Channel or away?
I think we probably want to be pointed in the direction of travel.
Okay, so the
direction of travel for the side that we're on, which would be upstream.
Yes, so right here is the big train station.
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys are somewhere right over here, and you're pointed that direction. So you idle the engine to a point that it's holding you roughly in place as you're stood in front of there. Now, there's an issue in that you can't quite seem to get the exact setting. So somebody may need to stay on board to keep the engine at the right level so it's ready, or to swing it around or something. You're not just going to all be able to jump off unless you tie up. And there's not really a tie-up place right there in front of that sewer channel.
Is there one nearby?
If you were to move forward 200 yards up Char Hollow, there are some tie-up places on the side there. So basically, it's not like this is beach coming down to the ground. There's stone walls coming up out of the water, and at the top of there's some iron cleats that you could loop to hold yourself steady.
I'm kind of thinking like banks of the Seine, that kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Should we go and dock up, and then have we got like a little jolly boat or something?
You know what? We're gonna roll. I'm gonna, if 1, 2, 3 you don't, and above that you do. Nope, you don't.
Do you have any water wings?
So the only issue with that are those dang eels. Yes, the water is black and nasty and cold, and it does have a really decent amount of eels in it, and some of them get really big.
That's why I'm on the inside of the grill, not the outside.
Very good.
Well, you're dealing with a different kind of long, slimy, floating thing.
Yes,
Doesn't
absolutely.
bother me as long as I can get hosed off later.
And Wrecker will hose people off.
He's going to be hosing himself off. Then he never does, so, whatever. But I do. As long as I can get clean later, I don't mind getting dirty.
Okay, so let's get this moving on. You guys are, your guys dock.
We're just going to, yeah. Who's
So
in? I'll keep hold of the boat. You guys head in.
So it's far enough. Well, I said 300 yards. Let's make it a little bit better so that you guys could maybe jump off the back and get to where you need to go. Okay, without having to swim or climb or anything weird. You guys can go off the aft of the barge, avoiding the engines, and make a hard step, but you do it. And all of you are now down there unless someone is staying on board.
So when I see them coming, I drop the grill out of the way. I basically pull the grill out of the way, and as they step towards me, this big meaty hand sort of shoots out from the darkness, grabs each one of them in turn, and there's no ceremony at all. Just literally grabs each one of them and then pulls them past into the pipe.
Perfect.
And I'm braced against the grill, so I'm not going anywhere.
Perfect.
And between their athleticism and my brute strength, we're all in within seconds.
Absolutely. Okay.
So Twitch is going to stay on board the barge.
Very good.
And when everyone's disappeared into the pipe, he's going to craftily sneak out a little flask.
As you do. And as you're sitting there, so the rest of you are tromping through waist-high sewage. After your first left, which is a couple hundred yards up, it drops down to about thigh level. And after another left, it's down to your calves, unless you're short, like some of you. And then pretty rapidly, you see the grate ahead of you that's locked. What do you do?
Who's our resident?
Yeah, so I've got some tools that could help. Or
Okay. What do you want to do?
Just give me 2 seconds.
You got Tinker, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got Tinker. Just bear with me.
Tinker is a great one for opening locks. Absolutely. And if
So
do you have any tools to add to that to make it give you an extra dice?
Yeah, just give me 2 seconds. I'm just re-expanding my character sheet. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use Tinker.
Very good.
So I've got 2 in that, and I'm going to use some fine tinkering tools. Or
Okay.
the other option, yeah, just use my fine tinkering tools.
So add that to your. So check that off on your load, and you use those fine tinkering tools, and away you go, opening that up. I don't think there's.
Pop out my.
Go ahead.
I pop out a lantern because we've been moving around pretty much in the dark. I pop out a lantern and
Focus that in.
And basically, make sure he's got plenty of light.
I'll take that. Get an extra dice for him.
So this is.
I've got 1 in Tinker, so I know how to point it at the mechanism, so you can.
Yep. It is. This is controlled. Standard effect.
Standard effect, and then I've got 1 plus for the light. Do I have another one for the tinkering tool?
Yes. So
I've
you have
got
2.
2 bonus dice, yeah?
Yes, you do.
4 dice. Yeah, 2 bonus dice, yeah.
Let's see that 6. There it is. So no consequences. And you... Yes, you are. You're through. So a couple of 100 yards up, and you move through it silently. You can see that there's a little glow of light off to your left, where you were told. Okay. What do you do?
So I'm going to be in the lead for this one.
Okay.
We can't move completely silently simply because of the water.
And so it's down to your calves, if not your ankles, depending on how tall you are.
Yeah, but we're still going to be splashing through water. We're keeping it as minimal as possible, but there's still going to be noise.
Very good.
Stop this. So as we're getting up towards the left turn, I'm basically going to give a whistle.
Oh, the light goes out. Okay. And as you take a couple more steps, then you hear, who's there?
You're right out of here, boy.
Oh, the light comes back on. You see a old man, stooped, but well dressed in, well, his clothes would have been well dressed about 10 years ago, and they've had some wear. He's wearing a hat underground for no good reason, a little bowler cap. And behind him, you can see that there's an easel, and he's been doing some painting. And he has a little haversack ready to go. And he says, "Oh, so Grace, I mean, how do you know me?"
You must be Wick, right?
I am. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Blue coats.
What?
Brute. Ignore him.
Okay.
That's Wrecker.
Wrecker, Brute.
And who else? Sorry, Christine. What's your character's name?
Mara. Mara Moon.
Mara Moon.
Oh, yeah, but what?
No, that's
Mara.
Julius.
Mara, do you have? Is your spirit mask on? I'm just wondering.
My spirit mask.
Yeah, just wondering. Because that would scare the shit out of him if you're wearing it.
Yeah, no, that's there. Yep.
So she pops out into the light, and she's wearing this hideous red mask with horns and designs all over it. He goes, "Ho!
Calm it down, boy.
Oh,
Calm it down." And I basically, a big meaty hand comes out and just hangs onto his shoulder, and it just applies that little extra bit of pressure, not brutally so, but just a kind of reassuring squeeze of his shoulder. I'll leave my hand there until he calms down. Calm it down. She's a friend. She's on your side, all right? We're all on your side.
Okay.
Because you're going to pay us, right,
Well,
boy?
But yes. I'm glad to pay you. You're going to get me out of town, right?
We are.
That's the plan.
Says,
Listen, it'll be easy for us to slit your throat, take your money, and leave you. Just so you know.
I understand.
Skills like those, they can be handy to people like us. Understand? And because of that, we're going to make sure you get out of here alive. We're honest, but we're dishonest. You catch my drift?
So
understanding?
I do, but here's what I must add. I can do a special favor for you if and only if you let me keep some of my money when I leave.
Well, here's the thing, boy. We need to negotiate.
Yes.
We need to come to an arrangement.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Here's what I offer. And you tell me what you offer, and then we'll probably make a roll. So what I have a very good friend in the magistrates, and I can offer this. I can give you a code word that you can use if any of you are ever sent or are ordered to go to prison, that you will have a pardon from magistrate. If you will let me at least leave with 4 coin to start my new life. The rest of my coin is yours. I have 8 coin here. And some artwork. If you'll let me leave with 4 coin, I will give you the password to tell the magistrate, and he will provide you with a pardon from one of you from prison.
How does that work? How do you know that?
I've done some work for him. And he is a valued friend and confidant. And he asked me to put this out as a possibility to help me get out of town. He is helping me with this.
Any evidence?
You have my word now, but that's it. I will give you the word and the name of the magistrate when you get me to the point of departure. If you'll let me carry 4 coin of my own on me.
Seems fair.
It's a little less coin than we were hoping for, but
Doesn't seem.
Seems like a simple trade to me.
Seems fair if it's real.
So he goes back to the back of this little room, works a brick out of the wall, and hauls out 8 coin. So in this game, a coin is a abstracted term for like a sack of silver. Okay? And so a coin is a chunk of money. It's like more than a week's worth of wages. And so he pulls these out and he sets these things down, maybe a month of wages. And he's got 8 of those big sacks, and he puts 4 in his little haversack and says, "I can't thank you enough. I understand trust and everything else, but as we leave, it's only 2 words I'll tell you, and they'll be perfect to get a pardon for any of you from going to prison." You just need to take it to the right magistrate and say the word.
All right then.
And I understand you could cut my throat now and take all of this. I'm simply trusting Grace because she's the one who brought you here.
Can we ask the name of the magistrate?
No. I will tell you that on exit.
Let's go then.
Okay. I'll follow you.
Float waiting.
He's pretty short. You think that he's going to struggle in some of the deep parts.
I just pick him up and literally kind of piggyback him.
So, at this point, someone who is wearing a spirit mask sees a ghost that's shaped itself like a large eel that is cruising through the water towards you guys. What do you guys do? Well, you guys, some people don't see it. What do you do, Mara?
So it is a ghost spirit.
Oh, yeah, it is. And it looks pretty angry and territorial.
There's a ghost spirit here.
Okay. So what do you try and do?
I can
Is it a tune?
Do you want to try and compel it? Your special ability by attuning to the ghost field and giving it an order?
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I think I do. I want to compel it.
So you're going to need to make an attune roll. And
Yeah.
I think that using your fine spirit mask, which you have already clicked,
Yeah.
you are going to get 3 dice. Okay? To compel this spirit not to attack you guys. I don't think anyone with you can help you, sadly, because they are not aware of the horror that is, and by the way, as it's come towards you, it's starting to grow in size until it's filling the entire tube of the room with snapping moray eel type face. So, to put that in, as you think, it's just not long away from just snapping into the brute who's in the front. So with that type of thing, let's see that roll. This roll is risky, and we'll have a standard effect, which will turn it around if you tell it to.
Risky. Standard effect. Okay.
Let's see those die. Let's see the bones.
One bonus dice.
You have the bonus. You have the bonus dice from the fine spirit mask.
Can I just ask, by the way, can people... That's nice.
Wow.
I'll do.
Well, anyone can attune. Anyone can do any skill, no matter if they have no dots in it. They'll just roll 2 dice and take the lowest. Okay? Or they can push themselves and get 1 dice for 2 stress. So absolutely, that is a success. You have control of this giant moray eel type spirit that is coming through this tunnel. What do you tell it to do?
I am telling it to turn round. I want it to head out of the tunnels. And I want it to head out. Can it head out? Can it get out of the pipe at the end?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I want to head it out the pipe at the end. And I want it to head up towards the Bluecoats boat.
Very nice.
Keep it a little busy for a bit of time to see, for a couple of hours to give us time to get clear of here.
Very nice.
And send people in the opposite direction from where we might be headed.
That's phenomenal. I love it. And so you you do that, and you follow it as it leaves. It's moving rapidly. All of you guys are headed back towards the ship. Above, on it, Twitch has been sort of waving, saying nice things to passersby on the side. Nobody seems to have really clocked him. And sure enough, back out of that channel at the far end, down by between the docks and Crow's Foot, you see the blue coat cutter come back out. There's a splashing next to you, right about the time that the blue coat nose pokes out, Twitch, and you see your buddies, and they've got this little man with them. He's got a little bow tie and a bowler hat and an old-fashioned suit, and he's carrying a haversack with him. And you guys bundle him aboard.
I just boost him up onto the deck.
Okay.
I'm gunning.
Help anybody else who needs it, and then pull myself up.
And I'm smoothly turning up the engine.
Okay. You throw off the rope.
Yep.
And down you sail. And you see that the blue coats who have rounded and are following behind, their boat suddenly seems to have a lot of turbulence in the water. And there's some yelling in the distance as you guys pull off down and around the corner. Very nicely done. So where do you guys head? Somewhere in here between Coleridge and Night Market? And
around about there.
Okay.
There's a dock.
All right. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and bring down a map for you. We'll see how this goes. Dun, dun, dun.
Somewhere I have the detailed version of that map, the really high res one.
See, yeah, there's some. So that's not perfect because that cuts that off. So this is Night Market, and it cuts this off. However, you can see at the very bottom there's some docks. So for our purposes, the train that you guys are needing is on the inside track and bends all the way. And actually, there are actually cars all the way over this bridge. Okay.
So maybe we could sneak him onto the bridge.
So you guys are roughly in here, stopped by these docks.
Okay. So flashbacks.
Oh yes, absolutely. So flashbacks, you spend the stress I tell you, but the minimum is really 2. Sometimes I'll give you a 1 if it's not too much. You can go back in time and tell me about the cool planning you did for this particular situation. And I would love to hear how this plays out.
Okay. So what I'm after is basically it's a previous score that Twitch did with his with a different crew, where they basically boosted some valuable cargo from one of the trains that came in, and they'd found a unobserved part of the perimeter.
Okay.
Basically, where the crew could sneak in and get to the train.
Okay, that's 1 stress. That's not a lot. So you remember the exact place that you used before as an entrance point. So there is a less lit location on the side. Now you were using a smaller boat, actually a small raft when you did it, and this time you have a larger barge. But you guys pull up to that same rough area, and you're in between lights, and there's not fencing really right. There's some fencing along the waterway, but it doesn't appear to be right here in this area. You're sort of by these little off buildings over here where there's some storage and there's some maintenance apparel, and you stop right there. Okay, how do you keep the boat still? There's not really a cleat or anything.
Is there anything that we can basically, if I leap onto the shore, is there anything at all that I can put this under or wrap a rope around?
Boop boop. Let's see. Yes, there is. Absolutely. You see that there's an old maintenance cart that would go out onto the rails that is sort of rusted in place off on the edge there, and you could probably loop the rope around that.
Okay, so I jump onto the shore with a rope over my shoulder and pay it out behind me as I go. Come up to the thing, look for a lock-off area, spin it round.
You've got it.
2 half hitches, pull it up, cinch it up, and then I give him the motion to kill the engine so everything goes quiet.
All right,
and
so
turn out the lights as well.
Assuming that you guys know your own boat, when he cuts it off and the current tries to take it, it stays roughly in place because of how you have it tied up. Okay, so you guys move across.
Yeah, we would have it tied either at the bow or at the stern, depending on which direction the things are going in.
Very good.
And as I was running, I was hauling it right up to the
edge. As tight as you can.
Bumps up against the edge.
So Vivienne is still down below stairs. And are you leaving the boat by itself?
I think we have to, don't we?
Fair enough. So you're off on the shore. You move between the maintenance buildings. And you can...
Can we get a different loadout now?
No. The loadout's the same. And you've used the loadout you've used. I understand, because you're in your lair, you would find that something you could do. However, typically in a heist, you're stuck with the load that you have chosen. So let's play that out. Okay, so you're moving between these buildings. It's not like we're in a high max prison where there's lights going everywhere. No, it is a large industrialized train station in which a large portion of the food that comes in through here. There are trains moving in and out fairly constantly. However, the one that you have decided you're going to use is parked in place as it's being loaded. However, you guys did a number of maneuvers you weren't planning on, right? You moved up and down the river. You did different things. You don't have quite as much time as you would like. But there's the train before you. You can see that there's a couple of guards with torches sort of walking along the edge of it. You can see that in this area there's some loading vehicles that are loading some stuff. You don't know particularly the setup unless you want to do a flashback or something like that to know about which cart to get to.
Before we get to that, I'm just going to gather the group round and we'll all hunker down.
Okay, so you're hunkered down.
Look, here's the deal. I'm pretty sure you can get him on that train. He's a scrawny fella. He can walk for himself. He doesn't need too much effort. And I'm sure you're all much better at getting into that than I would be. So here's the deal. I don't create the diversion if you need a gap in the visibility through there. Just let me know and I'll make it happen. Got it?
Okay. So the camera is focused tight in on your group as you're hunkered behind this building full of repair materials for the trains. And it pans across the expressions of each of your characters at this. And what do you say, Pete? I mean, not Pete, but...
Yeah. Twitch.
Twitch.
I've been here before. I know the score with the patrols. I know the score with the loaders and the unloaders.
Okay.
But give me a minute. I just need to work out where they are in their pattern. We should be ready to move.
Okay. So typically
If you
that
need me.
would be a survey roll, typically. You can
Can I
also
ask a-
do that as a flashback if you choose, or you can do that as now.
Flashback
Okay.
as well, please. Yeah.
Okay. So in your flashback, make me a survey roll.
Okay. So that's one bonus dice.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is controlled and it's regular. You're just watching all the movements from somewhere hidden.
Controlled standard. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, you have a 4, so you do know exactly how they move, and we'll see how this plays out. You definitely know.
So I know when the time to go is.
Yes.
In the pattern.
Absolutely.
And so patrols are all facing the wrong way. The loaders have moved on to the next cart.
Yes.
And we're ready to. That's the cart they've just done is the one we're going for.
Absolutely, you're headed to it, and it is the dried eels that you were talking about. And if you think about it on your big map of the world, it is moving to one of the other big towns on Akaros. And I don't have that right in front of me, so won't say it, and I'll feel embarrassed. But you're moving. You'll be able to move him out of this town to another town in Akaros. So here's what I want out of this move: is I need a movement. I need a roll for this transition from hiding to across to trying to get him onto the train.
Prowl roll, yeah. Prowl about unseen. And
you just got really, really quiet. Can anyone hear Pete?
Sorry. Can you hear
Prowl
me?
makes sense. Yeah, we can.
You guys can? Did I hit something on mine?
I was going to say.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I can hear you.
Yep. Sorry about that. Okay.
Can I assist his prowl?
How? Just tell me how.
Because
wait.
This chap
here's what this is. Nope. This is a group maneuver. So what's happening is he is leading the prowl. Everyone else needs to make a prowl roll. If they succeed in their prowl roll, he gets a bonus dice. If they fail in their prowl roll, he's going to take stress. So, Felix, Can
I assist? Is that possible?
No, this is a group maneuver. So he is basically maneuvering you guys all the way across based on his skill.
Fine. Okay, so I'll do a prowl roll.
Please.
But I want to assist my prowl roll.
You want to push yourself?
No, I want to use an item.
Oh, okay.
And this is what I'm asking you.
Okay.
Is this chap recognisable to the guards? I mean, they're all looking for him.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for him.
What I want to do is, I want to use some subterfuge supplies.
Okay.
Yep.
Mark it off.
That's going to be one of my 3. And in there's a theatrical makeup kit. There's also a selection of blank documents, costume jewelry,
perfect,
reversible cloak, and so forth. So I'm just going to get him up, and I'm going to get him garbed so he's as unrecognizable as possible.
Okay, so you get 2 die, or you get an extra dice to whatever you're doing.
An extra dice. And are we doing this as a risky or?
It's going to be risky. But for you, you are aiding a different roll, so don't worry about that. Just roll your roll. And
is it going to be risky or controlled or desperate?
Oh, go ahead and put risky and normal, because it requires that. I understand.
Okay.
And then Christine, get ready to do your roll too. Okay. So you succeeded. So he gets an extra dice. And Christine, let's make your roll as well. Once again, just put in controlled and regular, or risky and regular. It doesn't matter. And we will see what the roll is that Pete has to make for this maneuver. So Pete, you're going to get an extra dice because of the effort that Wrecker has put into this. And you get another dice based on the effort that Christine put in. That Moon.
So I've got a fine shadow cloak.
Oh, you can do that. There's another.
So, do you want me to make the roll as well?
No, because you're
Or
not
am I
moving
hanging
with them.
back?
Not moving with them. Yeah. Unless you are moving with them.
No, I'm hanging back.
Okay. So you have 2 extra dice from them, 1 extra dice from your shadow cloak, and your regular roll. You should be able to just knock this right out, Pete.
You would hope. Right, position.
This is the point where you get Yahtzee. And
Here comes the group roll.
Yeah, position.
Your position is risky because you might get caught in this, and your effect is going to be standard. You're going to just cruise right across and do what you want to do. Where's the roll? Oh, is the roll not displayed?
Should have come up.
It's
1, 5, 4, 3.
Oh, okay, so 5. You got it. You didn't have your 3D dice turned on. That's okay. So, so he rolled a 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. No one cares about anything but the 5. So it is successful with consequences. So you cruise.
Okay. Sorry, can I just jump in?
Please.
Okay. So, while they are moving away from me, I'm moving to the left.
Okay.
And what I'm looking for is because I'm in sort of in the weeds, in the wastelands of this yard.
Yep.
What I'm looking for is a pile of stuff.
Okay.
It could be a big stack of boxes. It could be a pile of made up pile of rails. You know, where basically chunks of rail have been stacked up. Storage.
Okay.
I'm looking for something that, if I were to tip it over, would make a lot of noise.
Okay, you find that.
Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to watch them. I'm going to sneak across. I'm just going to plant myself between me and the folks who might spot them against that.
So what I'll do...
The camera sort of notices me sneaking off, but it hands away from me.
So I've got 2 choices here. One, I can give an extra roll to Pete with 1 die, or I can wait until something happens and ask you for a roll. So let's wait and ask you for a roll, because I think that will have the higher percentage chance of something going on. And so, as you would expect from a 5 roll, it's not a complete success. You are in front of exactly where you want to be when you see 2 men almost materialize out of the air, and they have rifles. And I will say that from across from where you're standing, Brute, you know these are 2 well-paid assassins. They've probably been waiting for this very thing. So, what do you guys do?
So where are they in relation to? So we've seen them as well, yeah?
Yep, they are away from you. You are between them and the train. They are closer to the wall, sort of blocking off the rest of town. And they've sort of... Yes, they are. They're facing you, and they are going to shoot you.
Okay.
Can I see them?
Yes, you can.
Okay. How far away from me are they?
So they're about, 40 yards, something like that.
40 yards. It's a long way.
You don't want to kill them because...
spirits and all that, and bells.
Spirits.
Yeah. However,
Have you explained
no.
to these guys?
So in this world, really quickly, when someone dies, a bell goes off because no one wants another spirit running around. A bell goes off that people near the body can hear, and people in the crematorium in town can hear. A death crow flies out to find where the body is, and then the spirit wardens rush in as quickly as possible to grab the body, to take it to the crematorium and bathe it in electroplasm to destroy the spirit before it can get loose. So they will often question the spirit and see who killed them, and that turns into its own problem. Okay. However, if you're killing from afar or whatever, you can do what you need to do. Let's see what happens. Or if you have spirit bottles to capture the spirits, there's many ways to deal with this. Let's see what happens. So they jump up, they level their rifles, and they're about to fire towards you guys.
Well,
Twitch is going to push Wick to the ground.
Okay. You push Wick right flat to the ground. Done.
I'd like to use my blow gun.
Okay. And what are you going to do with it? And what do you have in it?
Put a dart of sedation in there.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what I'd use to. What do I use to shoot it?
Whatever you want. Tell me. Typically, it would be for a long-range attack. It would be. Let me find your character.
So Prowl isn't really very good.
Actually, Prowl is the one that's normally used for a long-range attack.
All right. Okay. I'll use Prowl then.
Do you want to push yourself and take 2 stress and get an extra die?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Take those stress.
Can I ask what's around me? That's fairly heavy, but not too heavy.
What do you want to?
And that will make a hell of a lot of noise. I'm looking for something like a bar of metal, or a piece of metal piping, or something of that nature.
Okay. Let's see.
What about your loadout?
Yep, there's a big old pipe right next to you. You can grab it, and it looks like it's a steam transfer. You can probably just yank it right off. It's a bit hot, but you can still grab it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's make Felix's roll really quick, and because he's in the middle of the shot, and then we'll get right back to you. Go ahead. And there's not really an initiative.
Do this simultaneously with him.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Is this risky, controlled, or desperate? This is pretty.
This is risky. I'll give it. No. Yes, it is. It's desperate because if you fail, you're going to get shot.
And then is it standard?
Yes, standard effect. You're going to get the effect of that.
And I've got +1.
Good. Let's see it. There's the 6s. You got a critical.
Yes.
So you when you hit him, he drops, and not only does he drop, his rifle fires off and hits the other guy in the leg, delaying his shot. John, you've ripped that out. What do you do with it? Brute.
Okay. Right. 40 yards, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I know the world record for the hammer is 86 meters. I'm
very good.
For that, right? I get this pipe, and I literally, as he fires, I hoy this pipe into the air. I'm not actually trying to hit them. What I want to do is I want a pipe to land right where they are and make a massive clanging noise.
Brilliant.
So as he fires, and I go, whoa. So basically, this is like a wrecking roll. I'm just hurling this thing with brute force.
Brilliant.
Towards them. Again, not trying to hit them, just trying to make a huge amount of noise where they are.
What skill are you using?
I'm going to use wreck because it seems like the most appropriate thing.
Fine enough. And do you want to push yourself or anything?
Sorry?
Do you want to push yourself or anything?
Yes. Does that give me a level of stress?
It gives you 2 stress and you get an extra die.
All right. Right. Go for it.
Whoosh.
This is I don't know. Is this desperate? Is it risky? Is it controlled? Where are we?
For you, it's risky, and it's going to have a standard effect. I'm big on the standard effect tonight. What'd you roll?
Oh, yeah.
I missed it. What'd you roll?
6.
Nice. So you landed exactly where you wanted, right in the middle of them, and it has startled the guy he's been shot, he's been startled, and
Well,
he is.
I mean, literally, it's shot. So shots go off, and then there's this huge clang of noise. So basically, what he does is anybody who's anywhere nearby turns and looks to see what the hell is going on from this massive sound as basically this huge bit of pipe makes this clanging sound.
What's your idea of drawing the attention? I don't understand.
So it happened. Don't worry about it. So boom, attention's drawn that direction. You freaked out the other assassin. What do the rest of you do at this point?
Okay,
you think he's not going to take a shot immediately because he's been shot in the leg. This huge thing lands next to him. He's like, what's happening?
So Twitch is going to try and boost Wick into the train car.
Okay, you boost him into the car,
and then we're getting out of there.
So what I'm going to say is, and I want to do. What's your character's name again? Oh, actually, I'll do this. There we go. He says, he leans into you. And says 2 words. And you swing the door shut.
Okay.
And that's butterfly, by the way. Sorry. And and you swing it shut. And by the way, the train has started moving. There's steam going everywhere, and you're moving back across. You see that the assassin has gathered himself and is trying to get a bead on any one of you that's sprinting back across this field. I'm going to ask Mara Moon what she does first.
So, sorry, we're sprinting back across the field, are we?
And you're seeing that the lone assassin that's left, who's shot in the leg and had been startled, is now trying to draw a bead on you as you guys are running across.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
There's obviously a huge amount of commotion that's just happened over there.
Oh, yes.
Right? And I'm wondering if anyone, or if all the people like the guards and everything else have noticed that there's guys with guns hanging about where there's been this massive noise, and therefore
yes,
to close on him.
You can see that there's some of the security guards from the train station are moving you guys' direction, and you think that they're not moving slowly. These guys are not sprinting, but they're moving along with good pace. There's 2 groups of 3, one about 100 yards ahead of the other, and they're all armed with clubs and swords and pistols. Okay? But the immediate danger is the highly trained assassin who hides really well, who is now on one knee and is bringing his rifle around and training as you guys are running back across.
I'm going to start
Mara?
Zigzagging and keeping as low as I possibly can.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Are you wearing your mask?
Yeah, my mask is still on.
There's multiple spirits about.
Ah, lovely. Okay. Well,
as there usually are.
I'm gonna call up a spirit then if I can. I'm gonna get myself as low to the ground as I can, settle down, hunker down, and basically call up a spirit. And I'm sending it. Well, if I succeed, I shall be sending it over to the.
So,
assassin.
Mara, I'm going to tell you exactly the spirit you see, because it's one you know. It's Nyrix.
Ah.
And this Nyrix has always looked to you like a swirling pile of fireflies inside a dark column of smoke. And Nyrix is, as usual, sort of pacing you. And he's up on top of the train, and you can look and turn to him and tell him what the heck you want him to do, including possess.
So, sorry, I'm not understanding it. So I can compel him to.
Oh, absolutely. Give me a tune roll or something, or a command, or whatever role you want. You can tell him to go actually take control of somebody.
Right. In that case, that is what I shall do. I shall get him to basically go and take control of this assassin.
Nice.
And the one that is standing still.
Yes.
Or trying to take aim at us, and get him to possess the assassin, and get the assassin to basically jump up and start swatting and screaming and slapping at his pants as if he's got a pants full of wasps, basically stinging him, or and basically make a massive motion to draw the guards over to him.
Absolutely.
And equally take his mind off any kind of attempt to.
So make your roll. Which roll do you want? What do you want? And do you want to push yourself? Or take a devil's bargain? Or you guys are all really doing pretty well on stress, so you can probably just push yourself.
Yeah, I'll push myself.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So how many dice do you get? It's risky because everything that's going on, but it'll be a good standard effect.
Am I right that I roll my attune? I don't roll.
You tell me what you roll. I don't care. That's the beauty of this game is you tell me, and I'll set your position based on that. So if you tell me that you do it by brawling, I'll say, yeah, well, okay, your position is desperate, and you're going to have zero effect. But
so
you tell.
I'm compelling him, so I'm going to be using a tune.
Attune, perfect. And that's what I say. What I said before, which is it's a risky position because of everything that's going on, but at the same time, you're going to have a standard effect, and he will do exactly as was told.
Okay, and I'm going to push as well, push myself. So
well done.
Standard effect, yes.
Yes.
And
so if you don't have a complete success, the possession may not be perfect.
Okay. I've got my spirit mask as well. Does that give me any bonus to this?
I've did it before. I'll do it again. And I'll look at that in the future. But yeah, let's have an extra dice for your fine spirit mask.
By my fine, beautiful spirit
yes.
mask. Alex loves so much. He's seen it many times before. And I'm pushing, so I get another bonus dice for that, do I?
Yes.
Yep, I've got 2 bonus dice.
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. Let's submit that then.
Look at that.
Good job you got that extra dice.
Yeah.
Wow. So Nyrix moves across in a slithering motion across the ground in a pile of smoky sparks and hits that assassin right in the face. You see his mouth open and Nyrix just pours down his throat. And he shakes and he judders and he starts screaming and yelling, and his weapon discharges into the air. And you can see the groups that are coming up this direction. They start heading towards the sound. Okay, you guys move across to the barge, and I'm gonna make a last roll. Okay, this is all of you to get to the barge and away. That's it.
I'm ahead of them.
Yep.
And I'm sprinting across to the barge.
Okay.
And as soon as I get to the barge, I'm undoing the rope.
Okay.
And then I'm holding the rope, and then as they arrive, they all jump on, and then I jump on with the rope.
So what I'm going to ask for is a roll. That's a group roll. Someone is going to lead it, and that would be a help type thing. This that you will roll. So who is leading this group roll, and what is the roll?
So Twitch is going to lead a prowl roll.
A prowl roll. I like it. So, John, make your roll.
So do I prowl as well?
Right.
Yes, you do.
Right, this is a group roll, so we need to see whether or not we're going to give
Yep. The rest of you guys give him a prowl. So Christine, Felix, John, everybody roll a prowl.
I'd like to take some stress doing my prowl.
Do it. 2 stress gives you an extra dice.
Is it a risky or a
It's risky and it's standard.
risky and standard?
So yours goes 1 dice, John. That's fine.
Well, I will be because I've got no prowl. So.
Okay. So who's that?
That's me.
Okay. So Pete, you take an extra stress.
Okay.
And John? Okay, you get an extra dice. Pete?
Okay.
And Myra Moon, have you rolled? And you take another stress, Pete.
Sorry.
So you got an extra bonus dice to your movement.
Yeah.
And let's make this move.
Okay, so I'm also going to take some stress.
Fair enough. 2 stress gives you another dice.
Does stress get cleared at the end of the...
Yeah,
there is a way to get your stress cleared, and we'll discuss that.
That's using your
Just
mind.
take it now.
No, try and use up as much stress as possible under 6 dice.
Okay, so...
Oh, God, that's terrible.
Risky... Standard... 2 bonus dice.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a go.
Let's see it.
Oh! There's a success.
Yes, it is a success. Absolutely a success. So you move across.
With consequences.
You get to the boat. You're on the boat, and you see that there's rounding towards you a blue coat cutter, and they're moving directly towards you with their spotlight on. They're somewhere in this area.
Okay, so we're all back on the boat, yeah?
Yes. So you're moving. You're moving up channel. Sadly, this will give you one. I thought we were done. There's one last roll now to make because of that fail.
Right, we've got to get away from the cutter.
Yes, you do.
So we're gonna make a group prowl to go fast past it, and then maybe try and.
I say, well, if we wanted to just sort of I don't know.
We've got to go.
We've got to go.
No.
I'm sorry we've gone past time, everybody, by the way. And so you roll forward. The ship is next to you, and it's got this light trained on you, and it says, Avast, stop! What are you doing down here?
Okay, I'm going to try...
The brakes have failed. We can't stop.
We'll try sway.
Okay.
Oh.
Sway's great. Okay. What are you going to say?
Okay. So, just had a little engine trouble.
Okay, is there anyone else that can help with that? Like maybe Felix making some smoke out of the back of the engine, or can anyone help?
That would be useful.
That would be rather useful.
You want a little alchemical thing there, Wrecker?
Bang some tools, so we've got some noise coming out the engine room.
So, Felix, you can mark off something off of your alchemical, your bandolier. There's smoke coming out of one of your engines, or looks like it.
Yeah.
And
so I've dived below deck, and I'm listening into what he's saying.
Yep.
We've just got the deck hatch open just a little bit, so I'm listening to what he's saying. So as soon as he starts saying about a little bit of engine trouble, I run down. I run down the back. I grab one of the big spanners that every boat always has in its engine room.
Yep.
and in tempo with whatever the motor noises are from within the engine, I start going toot 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 toot.
Fair enough.
So
I love it. I love it.
Tinny sound
So
coming from this thing.
there's 2 extra dice here for you there, Pete. Look at that.
Right.
Oh, wait. Another thing's happening. Vivian has come out of her room and is trying to figure out what's going on. She's a little surprised and shocked at the noise, and someone needs to stop her from going up the stairs and checking.
I'm going to run over to her and sort of reassure her. And
Oh, very good. So I'll give you 1 more dice, Pete.
Okay. And
Don't balls it up, mate. All right.
I've got to. I mean, I'm getting very stressed here, but I've got to push this.
Do you want to push yours? Do you want to push it? Get another stress? Do it. Get those dice.
Okay.
Come on for a 6.
So how many is that? That's what? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Come on.
You are going to have to do some serious
Risky?
drinking.
It is. Oh, it's risky, all right. And it's standard.
Standard.
What's your sway?
Dice don't fail me now. 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, look at that.
Oh, that's all right.
So how I'm going to play this, because we're out of time, is you do succeed in talking these guys down, and you move off. However, they clock your particular boat, and I will add some heat to your characters at the end of this. Okay?
Fair enough.
And heat's not a great thing. So you cruise up, you park up, you guys have done the mission, you have all that coin, and you have the super secret thing. Pete, do you want to tell them what your super secret thing is that he said?
Yep. The word is butterfly, and guess who the magistrate is?
I think it's Nog.
Our old friend Nog.
Expected as much.
And there we will end tonight. And thank you so much. What a fun time. And sorry we went long, but I thought it was a really good one. And it's good heist. Good heist. Well played. Big money. And we'll do the downtime next time. And then we'll move on from there. And we'll try and do it next Wednesday as well, if everything goes right. Cool.
Can I just ask people, please, on your character sheets online on Roll20, can you actually add your character's name to the character sheet rather than your own names?
Yeah.
It's on my character sheet, but it's
so when you roll, it shows that it's your character. Because if you look at my rolls, yeah, mine say that it's me.
What is it? Under bio and info.
No.
Yeah, when you edit it, it'll be there.
Oh, edit it at the top. Yeah.
And if you don't, I can get to it at some point over the next little bit. But great fun, lots of fun, and we got two issues. Next Wednesday we'll plan on that, and then and I might be late on Tuesday for yours, John. I'm coming back from High Wycombe, and then it should be good. And then we need to start planning a new date for our Call of Cthulhu. So we'll get on that, and what amazing fun. You know, we do some really cool stuff. Cool. Thank you guys so much, and I'll let you go now, and we'll do this again. What an amazing first adventure for you guys. Awesome. Brilliant. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
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 Well, that's my amazing troop, and if you've seen them on Call of Cthulhu, which we have, they're smarter than most people. I can't begin to tell you how awesome these characters are and what they do. If you look at some of the other things that go on online, they're ridiculous. And our characters, they tend to always just do great work. Anyway, whatever the case, thank you very much. Bye-bye.